All right, just wait for see if anybody else will show up before I begin. Hey, Derek, how you doing? Unfortunately, I'm on my lunch break, but my lunch break is only a half hour, so I don't have time to play a game today. But I did want to prep for a live broadcast I'm going to plan to do tomorrow morning. So I wanted to take a vote and see. I've got 2 games I could play. Probably won't have time to play both of them, but I wanted to take a vote and see which ones you guys would prefer to see. Choice number 1 is game 4 of the can I see you? I can see your comments, yes. Derek, I can see your comments. Like I said, there's a choice of 2 particular games to play that I planned on doing tomorrow on the live broadcast, probably around 11 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, give or take a little bit of time, but somewhere in that neighborhood. Hey, Tony, how you doing? I was just telling Derek, I don't have time for a full game. This is more, hey, Brent, this is more of a intro into the live broadcast for tomorrow morning, but I'm taking a poll between 2 different games that I plan on trying to put out on the live broadcast, so I wanted to take a vote and see which one you guys would rather see. The first option is game number 4 in my Grateful 8 series. The 3-game series in the first round opponents have finished, and now teams are moving on to play someone else. So in game 4, we have the San Francisco Giants are going to be at the New York Yankees. And in that game, it would be CC Sabathia on the mound for the Yankees against Jake Peavy for the Giants. That's one possibility. The other possibility that people had asked me about a while back was to bring back the 1987 Atlanta Braves History Maker Baseball season replay that I did a while back and just kind of got away from when I started doing strat and payoff pitch. And so I've got game 57 between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves. I got the score sheet already filled out. Zane Smith against Tim Leary. Now, there is a possibility I could do both. I don't know if I'd have time to do both, so I want to prioritize one or the other. And then also give you an update on what happened in game 3 of the Giants season in the Grateful 8. Cool, Derek. Way to go. Which season is that? Is that 77, or is that something else? I think you were the one that said something about 77 you were getting, but I'm not 100% sure. Can let me know on that. That'd be great. I don't know if you guys have ever done this or not before. Have you ever played a game and got kind of engrossed in the game, and then looked in about the 8th and 9th inning and realized you have a no-hitter going and didn't realize you had it? Well, that's what happened to me in game 3 of the San Francisco-Seattle series. Seattle, all right, thank you, Derek. Seattle is really having a rough time so far in my replay. The Giants have swept them in the 3 games in Seattle. But in game 3, it was Jeff Samardzija against Wade Miley. And it was a close game, 1-0 through 5. But then in the 6th inning, it kind of all fell apart for the Mariners as the Giants put up 6 runs. So they went up 7-0. So I was like, okay, let's just get this game done with and be over with. And then I kept noticing how quick the Seattle batting bottom of the innings were going. And I was looking at the Samardzija's pitch, how many innings he had pitched and everything, and I want to, not overextend him on the first game. So I stopped him after 7 innings. And let me see if this will work. I'll see if I can turn this camera around one moment. See if I can get this to work. Hopefully it will not cut off. Okay, can you guys see me now? Not that you wanted to see me, but this is what I look like in case you were curious. But I figured you might rather see a person talking than staring at the table. What happened was in the Seattle series that I was doing, the Seattle-San Francisco game, in fact, I'll go ahead and turn it back around so you can see the score sheet. If I can get this to work right. Here we go. All right. Through the first, let's see here, through the first 6 innings, of course, nothing was going on. 7th inning, nothing going on. And after 7 innings, I said, you know what, Samardzija, you've done enough, so let's take you out. Then the 8th inning, I brought in Hunter Strickland, and he took out the Mariners 1-2-3. 1-2-3. And I was like, okay, for the 9th, they got a 7-0 lead. Let's just bring in somebody. You know, you're not going to bring in the closer in the 7-0 game. But then I realized 8 innings, I had a no-hitter going. In fact, it was not just a no-hitter, it was a perfect game. Seattle had not had a base runner, period. So I said, you know what? I got ready to bring in, you can see on the score sheet, I got ready to bring in Santiago Casilla to try to preserve the no-hitter. But Josh Osich had not pitched in either of the first 2 games, and I wanted to get him some activity. Well, he came in, and the very first thing that happened was an error on the second baseman, Kelby Tomlinson. Then he gave up a walk. Then he got a fly out to center. But then he gave up the first hit of the game to Aoki. I'm sorry, check that. It was Dae-Ho Lee, because Dae-Ho Lee pinch hit since he's right-handed. And then another hit to Seth Smith. And then Robinson Cano took him deep for a 3-run homer. I said, I got to get you out of there. So they ended up giving up 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Casilla had to come in anyway and get the save. And Joe Panik was actually hurt in that game. That's why Kelby Tomlinson was playing second base there. But I don't know if you guys have ever played a game like that where you're just kind of going along and you don't even realize there's a no-hitter going on, or in my case, a perfect game going on, and then see that all of a sudden it's like, whoa, it's like this light comes on, and it's and then you end up with you're like, man, I wish I'd have been more mentally into the tracking that. But I think the fact that it was 7-0, those 6 runs in the 6th by San Fran probably took my focus away to where I was like, let me just get this game over with so I can go to the next game and try to get through this as fast as I can, because I got to do 42 games for each of the 8 teams. So that's a lot of games to get through. So I might have missed a no-hitter, but I don't think I would have missed a. John, I should have, but like I said, I think I was in the midst of trying to get like 3 games done at one time on I think it was either Thursday or Wednesday. And then, like I said, I looked down, I was like, wait a minute, they got a no-hitter going. Not only that, they got a perfect game. So, but needless to say, it was blown apart by reliever Josh Osich. So that kind of took care of that. It sounded like John voted for the History Maker game, but the other 2 folks, or some other folks, have voted for San Fran and New York. And I'll once I finish this video, I'll leave it up, and then people can come along and watch it later and vote if they like. But I was also, I'm sure most of you either subscribe or at least watch Tenacious Strat in his videos. And he was talking the other night, I think it was last night actually, about how Stratomatic and their injury formula and their injury process was a little frustrating after a while. It was kind of cute for a while, but then it kind of got out of hand. So we had talked about possibly doing some sort of a second D20 roll or whatnot to check on that. I'm considering doing the same thing, but I did, like I said, I did roll the injury for Joe Panik, so I do want to keep the Joe Panik injury. It's only for 3 games, so it's not like he's missing, a week or something like that. But I think it would be kind of neat to maybe fiddle-faddle with a different type of injury formula or process or whatnot. Just to give you an update on the season so far. Kind of messy score sheets, but I'll put them out. the Mets, and hopefully you guys can see this, I don't know. The Mets and Boston in opening day action. I think this was on the video, so if you saw the video, you obviously saw this already. But Boston shut out the Mets 4-0 in Game 1. Mets came back in Game 2 and beat the Red Sox 4-1 behind good pitching from Jake DeGrom and good bullpen activity. They got to David Price for 3 runs and kind of took care of that. And then the rubber game of the series, Boston came back and defeated the Mets. It was Clay Buchholz over Steven Matz. And the big blow in that game was Xander Bogaerts' home run. Actually, all 3 of the runs came on home runs. Bogaerts had 2 home runs in that game. One in the 7th and one in the – one in the 7th and one in the one in the 4th and one in the 6th is what that was. So after 3 games, Boston is up 2-1 in that series. The second one, group of 3 games that I've been playing, Phillies and the Yankees. Opening day, the Yankees won it 4-0 behind Tanaka, beat Jeremy Hellickson, and Peter Bourjos is out for games 2 through 9 due to injury, so that really took a toll on the Phillies because he was one of their better outfielders. In Game 2, I had probably the weirdest set of events I've ever seen. The Phillies came back and won the game 8-6 in 10 innings. But what happened in the top of the 10th is Aroldis Chapman came in, and it's kind of messy on the score sheet, but basically there were 2 wild pitches and a balk on 3 consecutive batters. The D20 roll kept coming up with a 2 and a 1. And Chapman has a very high balk rating. He has a very high wild pitch rating. So he kind of blew it there. And as you see on this one, I said Bourjos on the DL until Game 10. I called up David Lowe to give them 25 guys on the roster. So the Yankees had a 6-3 lead going into the 7th. But then Adam Warren got lit up for 3 runs in that 7th inning. And then, like I said, Chapman took it on the chin in the top of the 10th. In the 3rd game of the series, Yankees won comfortably 7-2, and that was the first activity for A-Rod. First time I let him get a chance to play. He was 1 for 4. Nathan Eovaldi got the win. I didn't finish putting in the stats for the individual players. I'm actually using the Strat PC game to input the stats. I've created my own little 8-team league in there, my own schedule. So I'm letting the Stratomatic computer do all the heavy lifting for me. All right. The other 3-game series is Pittsburgh and Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Game 1, the Pirates won it 5-4. Of course, that's on the video also. Liriano was a starter against Shoemaker, and 2 runs in the 8th by Pittsburgh, a double by Jordy Mercer with 2 outs in the 8th was the deciding blow there. Angels came back with a vengeance in Game 2, won 9-0 as they blasted Garrett Cole for 6 runs and 3+ innings, and Hector Santiago got the win. Several heroes in that game, lots of offense, obviously 9 runs, 14 hits. The Pirates only managed 2 hits, so not much going on there. And Game 3 was finally a decent game, ended 4-3 as Jonathan Neese took the loss and Jared Weaver got the win with Houston Street making his first appearance of the season, getting a save. So basically each series is 2-1 except for San Fran Seattle. That's a 3-0 split where San Fran swept Seattle. So what I'm going to do, guys, is since we have people who, let me turn this camera back around. Not that you really want to see me, but like I said, it's better than looking at the table, hopefully. But what I'm going to try to do, since there seems to be at least somewhat interest between both these games, I'm going to attempt, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have tomorrow, but I'll try. I'm going to attempt to play both games, but whichever one gets the most votes will get the game first, and then if I have time afterwards, I'll go to the other game. If there's any other games you would like me to see or like me to play for you, please let me know. If you want me to play a replay baseball game, if you want me to play a status pro game, if you want me to play a payoff pitch game again with the Orioles or with somebody else, let me know. If you want me to play a game strat from an older season, let me know that. I'll be glad to do any of that stuff because some of these projects that I'm on, I can play a lot of those offline. So my online time, now that I've got this figured out how to do this live thing, I can kind of put it to what you guys would rather see, so that you're not seeing the same teams over and over and the same guys over and over. But I want to have this open for you guys to watch the games, not only the teams but the types of games that you would like to see played. And I'll leave that open to you guys, and I'll default to that because I enjoy all the games. So it almost doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I have fun playing any of these things. So it could be Status Pro, it could be History Maker Baseball, it could be Replay Baseball, it could be all kinds of things. The only thing with Replay Baseball, the only card sets I have are 75 season and the 2015 season. So I'm kind of limited there. I do have Stratomatic 1986, Steve. So if you wanted to see a NLCS game like 7 or Game 6 replay, whatever it was, I think it was Game 6 because they had Mike Scott would have pitched in Game 7, but they didn't make it that far. So Tony's Payoff Pitch is one of my favorite games next to Strat. I'd say Strat's 1, Payoff Pitch is a close second, and to me then after Payoff Pitch there's a slight drop off, and then I would say it's really close between Replay and Status Pro. And History Maker's kind of off by itself because it's its own game. It's not really a simulation per se. It's it's more of what they call a game. But I'm drawing the whole reason why I did the 1987 Atlanta Braves replay. I've gone through, like I said, 56 games so far, but then I kind of took away from it. The whole reason I did that was to test the game engine and see over the course of a season how it would go, because that's what really Payoff Pitch is about. It's about taking a team from opening day and then going through the ebbs and flows of the season. It's not a blow by blow, and you're not trying to recreate necessarily what happened during a previous season. And 87 was kind of my, to use the Payoff Pitch term, kind of my wheelhouse for what I was doing. Let's see, if you want to see what I look like in real life, go to my Facebook page. To the right of the pretty blonde. All right, Derek, I've kind of had to rearrange my Facebook thing a couple times because I had my old account and I want to get this I want to get a separate Facebook account just for, this channel kind of thing. So I'll have to check that out, Derek. But yeah, that's why I just sent the Facebook request because I'm kind of new on that. Hey, Statistician. I didn't play any game, Statistician. This was strictly a chat session and a voting session. And I'll catch you up to date or anybody else up to date that came in late. The two choices are well, let me turn the camera back around so you can see. Hold 1 second. If it'll go for me. Hold on. There we go. Okay. The first choice is Game 4 in the Grateful 8 season replay. It'll be a new start to a new 3-game series. The New York Yankees hosting the San Francisco Giants. And the starting pitching matchup in that game are the number 4 starters for each team. That is CC Sabathia for the Yankees and Jake Peavy for the Giants. The alternative game, and like I said, I might play them both if I have time, but the alternative game, in case I only have a chance to play one, is Payoff Pitch, where I'm restarting my 1987 Atlanta Braves replay. And this would be Game 57 between the Braves and the Dodgers from Atlanta. And I don't know if any of you guys have any of you guys watched that History Maker that I did way back when I started it? Because on opening day, I actually found a video on YouTube of the TBS game opening broadcast, their little music and everything. And so I may come back, if I'm going to go back and do that, just to kind of get myself in the mood again, I may go back and do that again. Yeah, like I said, I wish I had more time, but unfortunately my lunch break is only a half hour, not an hour, so realistically I don't have time to play a full game in that short amount of time. So let me get back to me. Not that you want to see me, but I'm actually still at work on my lunch break. It's a Friday, that's why I'm in a t-shirt, because it's Casual Friday. I'm in a conference room, and it's 3:30 here on the East Coast, and I've got about 4 minutes left on my lunch break. But this time of day on a Friday, this conference room I knew would be open for me to be able to use it and kind of get away from everybody and do my own thing. So, statistician, good. Thank you for voting. Yeah, Tony, it is a late lunch. I do that on purpose so that I can get this room where it's where nobody's going to be using it. I don't want to be coming in here and playing a game and then all of a sudden somebody comes in here because they have a meeting to do because I'm not doing work-related stuff. So I purposely push back my lunch break late. I mean, I eat lunch at 12 just at my desk, but my actual lunch break I push back late so I can be assured of having this room, to myself. And a lot of times I'll walk at lunch, but today it's like 30 degrees outside. It was, I think, 70 degrees yesterday or somewhere close. Camera in the corner of the bedroom would be a bit weird. Yeah, I would say so. Like I said, I had it mainly focused at the table, but then I figured people wouldn't want to be staring at the table all the time. So, guys, look out for the around 11 Eastern. As I'm saying, between 11 and 11:30 Eastern is my start time. And if I have enough time, I'm going to play both. Now, what determines whether I have enough time or not? Well, my wife's in college, and she goes on Saturdays to the school to get some work done. And I can really only record these things when I have the house to myself, or else there's just too much background noise and I never get anything done. So that's why I play on primarily on Wednesdays, because she has class all day long. So when I come back, I have a couple hours to myself. And then on Saturday, she goes to the computer room and does some computer work there. So I have a couple hours on Saturday to get it done as well. I really probably need to try to sketch out a place in the house somewhere that's kind of like my own personal cave, and so I can get that done. But for now, this will have to do, and I can always sneak in here and to a conference room late after work one day and play a game if I really had to. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. It's 3:34 according to my camera, and I have to clock back in from lunch at 3:35. So, and I've got to go down the hall, so that's not leaving me a whole lot of time. But I do appreciate you guys for tuning in and giving me your feedback. Please, when this video cuts off, please put something in the comments as well. In the comments of the video. So that I can know for sure what you vote for, because I'm not sure when I stop this video whether these comments that you put up there now go away or not. So by all means, if you feel strongly about one particular game, please vote for that, and I will do my best to get it done. So until tomorrow morning, roughly around 11 o'clock Eastern, you guys take care, and I will see you down the road.